Hey, what's up, guys? Today, I am going to explain a 2022 musical drama movie titled Elvis. Warning, spoilers ahead, and I hope you enjoy the recap.
The movie opens up in Las Vegas in the year 1997. Colonel Tom Parker collapses in his home from an apparent stroke. He is rushed to the hospital. The news reports on Tom's collapse and his reputation as a con man, a liar, and a cheat who mismanaged Elvis during his career. As seen in a flashback to 1973 at the Las Vegas International Hotel, where Elvis was set to perform but could barely stand. Tom stated that the only thing that mattered was that Elvis performed that night. So they dunk him in water, drug him, and get him on the stage to perform in front of packed crowd. Tom acknowledges that many paint him as the villain, but he considers himself the man who gave the world king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley. Tom Parker begins narrating his tale in the mid-1950s, where he worked at a carnival for country western singer Hank Snow. Hank's son, Jimmy Rogers, shows up with a record that has a country kind of sound to it. While the others in the crowd seem to like the tune, Hank and Parker don't think the music is marketable since it sounds like music played by African American folks. Jimmy informs them that the song is being sung by a white man, and Parker suddenly becomes interested. Due to the new record's popularity, Elvis is invited to perform at a prestigious radio show in front of a live audience, right after Hank and his son's performance. Intrigued by Elvis' music, Tom tries to meet him. He finds him outside, nervous about performing. Elvis' mother, Gladys, calms him down and encourages him by saying that Jesse is watching him from above. It turns out that Jesse is Elvis' twin brother who died in childbirth. Elvis' childhood was not ideal. Elvis and Gladys were forced to move to an African-American neighborhood after his father was arrested and sent to prison. As a kid, Elvis befriended black children and found himself enchanted by soulful black music. As an adult in the early 1950s, Elvis worked at Sun Records to make music and support his family. Back to the radio show, Elvis finally goes on stage with his band. He's nervous, and due to his uncommon style, he is mocked by one of the audience members. Suddenly, Tom watches from backstage as Elvis transforms into a talented and confident performer. His hip rolls and shakes excite the women in the room, and they soon start clamoring all over the stage. Meanwhile, the men and older audience are appalled, including his parents. Upon observing the girls' reactions, Tom realizes that Elvis is the ideal performer to achieve fame. To his mother's dismay, he invites Elvis to go on tour with Hank across the South. After some persuasion, Gladys agrees to let Elvis tour, and the young man is now on the road. Soon enough, Elvis's coveted performance takes over the popularity of Hank's show. He tells Tom to kick Elvis off the tour, but knowing how big the kid's potential is, Tom instead confronts Elvis with a big dream: to make him the biggest star in America. Tom wants to exclusively represent Elvis, cutting his own professional relationship with Hank. Wanting to take care of his family and friends, Elvis agrees, though to achieve that dream, he has to make some sacrifices. Elvis must quit Sun Records to sign a deal with the nation's biggest recording label. He must also break up with his girlfriend to retain a desirable image for her young female fans. Then, Tom manages to convince Gladys and Elvis's father Vernon to let him represent Elvis by appointing Vernon as the executive manager of the newly founded Presley Enterprises, which will oversee all of Elvis's professional needs. With Tom backing him, Elvis comes out with his first record with the RCA label, which sells out quickly in large numbers. Elvis's star begins to rise as his popularity takes off, and with Parker's help, he is able to move his parents to a mansion, Graceland, which is located near Memphis. Parker also develops Elvis merchandise, including pins that say "I hate Elvis," because even hate can make them some money. However, despite his success, the sexual nature of Elvis's dance moves and the way that he captivates the female audience puts a concern on parents and elected officials, who dub him Elvis the Pelvis. Senator James Eastland personally rallies against Elvis and Parker, demanding that he clean up his act or go to jail. Tom complies by creating the new Elvis image, telling Elvis to perform while wearing a stiff suit and making him sing to a dog on stage. It was extremely humiliating, with the media mocking his performance and his devoted fans upset about the new Elvis image. This also causes a strain between Elvis and Gladys, who has fallen into alcoholism. Elvis drives drives away to Beale Street, a gathering place for African American performers and by far Elvis' favorite place. He is invited to a bar by famous singer B.B. King. After seeing a young man sing splendidly, B.B. tells Elvis to be himself on stage rather than playing a character to appease the people in power. Elvis is driven to a concert where he is ordered to not do so much as wiggle a finger, or he will be arrested. As Elvis gets on stage and addresses the audience, saying nobody is going to change him, and the crowd goes wild, he begins performing like his old self, rebelling against the senator who's doing a pro-segregation campaign nearby. The ladies in the audience go crazy as he wiggles his hips. Parker is horrified and he orders security to pull Elvis off stage, where he is arrested. The year is 1958 when Elvis is charged with indecency, but Tom manages to secure a deal for Elvis to join the army and be sent to Germany for 2 years instead of going to jail. Gladys is so concerned for Elvis' safety during his training that she turns to alcohol to calm herself. Unfortunately, it leads to her sudden death, devastating Elvis and Vernon. Tom finds Elvis sitting in his mother's closet, sobbing against her clothes. He steps in to comfort Elvis and promises to take care of him in Gladys' place. By 1959, Elvis is serving in West Germany, where he meets Priscilla, the teenage daughter of an army pilot. Other people in the area like to catch a glimpse of Elvis, though he enjoys spending his private time with Priscilla as he begins to fall in love with her. Upon his return home, he becomes the highest paid actor in Hollywood and marries Priscilla and has a daughter named Lisa Marie. Fast forward a few years later, past the height of his popularity, Elvis and his band of friends and family are on the road. He is upset because he has to do a Christmas shows, which is out of his character. They hear the news that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. has been assassinated, which further drives down Elvis' spirit. Sick of his work and the boring image he is forced to maintain, Elvis decides to team up with Steve Binder, who will produce his planned Christmas special. Elvis wants to reclaim his old image and popularity, so he and Steve change the program to instead feature Elvis in his old style. He finally performs in front of a live audience again, happily singing his old songs in his own style, much to Tom and the sponsors' bemusement, who want Elvis to sing Christmas carols instead. Elvis continues to perform with his old style with attractive background dancers, pissing off the producers even more.
During a break, the crew hears the news of Robert Kennedy's assassination, which unnerves Elvis to a breaking point. He feels like America is losing its way and he wants to say something about it. Tom, on the other hand, insists that Elvis promote the sponsor's product while singing a Christmas song. Upset, Elvis proposes to make a new song for the second day of shooting the special with Steve's help. They stay up all night in preparation for a spectacular show the next day. Elvis sings his new song in protest of the state of the country, which makes headlines and brings him back to the spotlight of fame. Though things didn't go as he planned, Tom takes the opportunity to congratulate Elvis' successful return. Elvis wants to do a world tour on his private jet, but Tom doesn't like the idea. Instead, he brings Elvis to the International Hotel in Las Vegas, who offers to cover the cost of Elvis concerts for 6 weeks straight in their hotel. Elvis agrees as long as he gets to do the world tour afterward, but greedy Tom takes advantage of the opportunity to sign Elvis to a 5-year contract with the International Hotel in order to pay off his gambling debts. Elvis still wants to do the world tour, but Tom manages to push it back by citing security problems and dangerous foreign fans. He instead takes Elvis on a national tour, and because Elvis adores his fans, he quickly forgets about the world tour idea while performing in America. During his tenure at the hotel, Priscilla watches as Elvis kisses other women. One day, when Elvis is returning in the International Hotel, he is informed about Tom is screwing over him. This enrages Elvis, who calls Tom out at the end of his performance, stating that Tom has been trapping him inside a golden cage. In the aftermath, Elvis wants to fire Tom, but Tom sends a bill of $8 million for everything he did as Elvis manager that Elvis has to pay if he wants to fire Tom. So, Elvis is forced to keep Tom as his manager and does everything that he's told. He is forced to work to the brink of exhaustion, the stress causing him to get addicted to prescription drugs. This makes Priscilla decide to divorce Elvis and take their daughter with her, despite still loving Elvis. He can't do anything but keep performing, and by the mid-70s, his health has declined severely and he has gained a lot of weight. He and Parker rarely see each other from this point onward as Elvis's tours take up most of his time. Elvis is on an airport runway with Priscilla and Lisa Marie before he has to leave them again to go out on tour. Priscilla asks him to go to a special clinic that she heard about for his prescription drug addictions, at least for the sake of Lisa Marie, but Elvis says he cannot due to his touring and lavish spending of money. Priscilla tearfully leaves him for the last time before he boards his plane. In August 1977, Elvis dies at the age of 42 from a heart attack at his Graceland home. Fans all around the world pay tribute to him, and a statement is given by President Jimmy Carter to memorialize him. Parker's final narration states that he doesn't think it was the pills or alcohol, or even himself that killed Elvis, but rather, it was the love that Elvis desired from his fans. He also notes that he still got to see Elvis perform one last time before his death. Elvis is shown appearing obese and worn out, but he still manages to belt out Unchained Melody to an adoring crowd. Eventually, in 1997, Tom dies in his old age, with his reputation tarnished. Soon after Elvis's death, Tom was sued by the Presley estate for his abuse and mismanagement as Elvis' manager. He tried to plead guilty but then decided to settle with the Presleys, ending their relationship. Tom spends the rest of his old age wasting away all of his money on gambling, while Elvis remains the highest-selling solo artist of all time, his influence still felt to this day. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more videos.